Welcome everybody to episode 39 of Xiàbān Hòu.
Yeah, Hose. What up? What up? What's going on with you, by the way?
Not much, why?
I'm just wondering.
Yeah, just
Figured people would want to know what's going on in your life.
Finally got back to fixing one of my cars.
Nice. It's warming up a little tiny bit.
Yeah, so I'm getting ready for that, so you know
Nice.
how it goes. Yeah, today, guys, we've got an interesting one for you. It's all about chili. Kind
All
of.
about chili.
Kind of about
By the way,
chili.
you know what's weird is that I'm lost in that whole Chinese translation of that / British English. We don't call la jiao like chili. Like chili is a dish. It's like a, you know what chili is, right? Like beef, ground beef,
it's
and
weird.
beans and stuff.
That is something that was new to me.
Yeah,
And it's not spicy even.
it is.
Slightly.
Oh, you can make it mad spicy.
I guess you can, but I've never
If you
had
go to
like
like a chili, if you go to like a state fair,
Yeah.
they have like chili making competitions. It's all about how spicy you can get it.
Yeah,
So it can be spicy for sure.
yeah. So what have you been up to lately? Have you been making chili or what?
No, I just wanted to explain that chili, when we talk about this, is not the like casserole like stew.
No.
It's not the stew.
I think most people around the world will know that
Yeah.
chili means chili peppers.
The vast majority of people here are American though.
Okay,
so.
what do you call the spice? What do you call those spicy things?
You
then?
call it by each thing. You say a hot pepper, right? But each one would be different. So you'd have a habanero or a jalapeno or a banana pepper. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean they're just
You'd
different
say
kinds of
hot
chilies,
peppers.
though.
No, you'd
Right?
say different kinds of hot peppers.
Okay, but it's kind of like saying Captain Crunch. You know, it's a cereal. What do you eat for breakfast? Cereal, right?
Yeah.
But what was it? Cocoa
I'm not
Puffs
saying
or-
it's wrong. Just saying that's
yeah.
what the average American will literally think you're talking about stew if we say chili.
Okay, average American. We're not talking about stew, and we're talking about
That's
chilies.
my point. And
We're
I've
talking about
converted
chili
it.
peppers.
I converted because now I
Okay.
call them chilies, right?
Okay. So-
Anyway, what's new with me? You know, a little this, a little that. I did eat something spicy the other day.
And what was that?
And it made me very, very... It kind of brought back memories of all the spice that I just couldn't handle in China. I'm obviously making a joke here.
Yeah.
There's this thing in China, and this is something you'll have to understand before we get into any of this.
Yeah.
And that is that China and Chinese people in general think that spicy food is from China,
Yes.
and the rest of the world doesn't eat spicy food.
Yeah. Well,
All foreigners.
The rest of the world cannot handle spicy food.
Yes.
In fact, they kind of, although they think chili comes from China, they also kind of think it comes from certain regions of China. And they're always
Yes.
like, these regions, man, they're
Yeah,
really
good
good
point.
at eating chili.
That's a good point. It's not like all Chinese people are good at eating chili.
No,
They'll
no.
say, like, Cantonese people can't eat chilies.
Yeah.
They'll say 不能吃辣的,不会吃辣的. You can't. You physically can't. You don't
Yeah.
know how.
Yeah, it's
The
impossible.
word to translate would be you don't know how to eat
Yeah,
it.
you don't know how to eat it. Yeah, but you know, Hunan apparently they can eat chilies. Sichuan is the famous place where they can eat chilies. You know, Chongqing, go there. You know, they've got their little regions in their cities which are famous for spicy food, right? But you're absolutely right. This idea that foreigners cannot handle spicy food seems to be ubiquitous around China.
Now, this has multiple reasons, but first I want to get into a
Yeah.
little history lesson.
Right.
Chili peppers or chilies or spicy food doesn't come from China.
No,
in fact, that's just wrong history.
We got it up here, right?
Yeah, what does it say?
Says chili peppers originated in the lowlands of Brazil as small, red, round, berry-like fruits. The location is called the nuclear area and has the greatest number of wild species of chili peppers in the world.
And that's a study from New Mexico State University. So what do we have? What we have here is proof that it is a new world food.
Yeah.
It doesn't come from China. And you know what's crazy? You know Peking man? Can you explain to everyone what Peking man is?
Peking man is China's idea of like their origin story. And for the longest time, Chinese scholars were trying to say that Chinese people evolved from a different source than the rest of the world. And that Peking man, because they found some bones somewhere, was their like precursor. So no, they didn't have anything to do with Neanderthals or anything like that, or anything from Africa or whatever. No, it all started in China from Peking Man?
This actually originates from nationalism
Mm-hmm.
and also the fact that they don't want to be related to black people.
Yeah.
Which is quite literally, like, China's one of the most racist countries I've ever been
Absolutely.
to in my life, and they don't want to think that they came from something else.
Yeah.
And it also plays right into CCP rhetoric as well. It's like, oh, we're different, we're built different. I mean, like, I had family members in China telling me that we had different organs.
Yeah.
You know, we actually have different organs in our bodies.
Yeah, because we're different. I mean,
I'm
it's kind
white.
of, it's like Aryan race.
Yeah, it's that
you
kind
know,
of stuff.
It's the same idea.
It's very much in line
Same
with that kind of
thing,
shit.
same
Yeah.
thing. And it's unfortunate, but like a lot of Chinese people do have this belief that they're special and different to everyone else.
Yeah, and anyway, that links to chilies.
Yeah.
And chili peppers, because there is a whole line of history when you bring this up with a lot of people.
Yeah.
That chili peppers actually are not a New World food. There is a certain variant of a Sichuan peppercorn that changed into like they have this fast, like, way off the wall story of a different timeline of how chili peppers evolved.
I mean, and it's stupid to
It's
try
so
and
dumb.
claim a
Yeah.
food anyway, because we live in a world where everything's shared.
yeah.
And a lot of New World food, like corn and so on, it's like
tomatoes.
everybody's uses that now. Like you
Broccoli.
think Italians use tomatoes in a lot of stuff, but it's
a
not
New World
from
food.
It's not from there, that type of thing. It's just everyone uses stuff, and you find a good way to use it, and there's nothing wrong with it. But you shouldn't be trying to claim it.
No.
You know what I mean.
Now, to bring
Anyway.
this all together, by the way, I want to shout out all the new hoes that are here.
Yeah.
Congratulations for being here. We're so happy to have you on board. The way this works is we have a live segment where we talk about a topic. Today, we've done a full-on expose about how foreigners become Chinese CCP Shills.
Or just famous.
Or famous. By starting by eating Chinese spicy food. It's a
We
thing.
came across so many new shills and so many new,
Yeah.
this just today when we
Yeah.
were putting together our materials that we don't have time for all of them. We
No.
just picked out a few examples. Some you might know, some you won't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you're new here, the way it works is we cover that, and then we open it up halfway through the show
Yeah.
to a Q&A. We just chat and hang out with you guys.
Absolutely. And then when it comes to the question time, so don't throw questions in the chat yet, but when
Yeah.
it is question time, put a Q in front of your question and we'll answer it straight away. Remember, this is a VIP club. What we do here, guys, it's for you, so feel free to ask anything you like. Don't hold back. If you've got questions, suggestions, whatever, that's what we're here for. But let's get into the topic. So
Yes.
one thing when you get to China and you start to make Chinese friends is they will try at some point to tell you about how good Chongqing hot pot or Sichuan hot pot or something, how spicy it is.
Yeah, now understand, these are western parts of China,
Yeah.
and this is where all the chili, spicy food comes from in
Yeah,
China.
and so what's going to happen is people are going to actually try to take you out. And they love this idea of taking the foreigner out to try the spicy food because they believe that foreigners can't eat spicy food. And that's why they're always asking, 你能吃辣的吗? 你可以吃辣的吗?
Can you eat spicy
Yeah,
food?
it's like, you foreigners don't eat spicy food type thing.
And it's so ridiculous.
Yeah. And then when you go there and you eat it, they can't understand why you're not dying.
Yeah, like there is obviously some spicy stuff, but I'll tell you what, I have had absolutely positively way more spicy dishes in Thailand especially, Cambodian food, Mexican food,
Indian food.
Indian food. All of these cuisines are 10 times
Yeah.
spicier than anything I had in China.
Just, I had this sadistic friend when I was growing up, right? And I used to go stay over at his place, and because his family was very rich.
Sure.
Okay. And so it was a treat. Whether it's a treat or not, now that I'm grown up, I think it wasn't a treat. It just shows that he had very distant, not caring parents. But what used to happen was, in my family anyway, to get like a takeaway food, like pizza or something, was
Never had it.
incredibly rare.
Yeah.
I can't even remember like when it happened, but it was very,
neither.
very, very rare. And
Never.
it was like a special treat.
Such a special treat. Yeah.
But
Same.
in his house, they'd get takeaway food every night, like every night.
Wow.
And so it was kind of like, I'd love to stay over at his place
Yeah, it's a
because,
treat.
they'd be ordering and like halfway through the day or whatever, before dinner time, his mom would ask like, what do you guys want? And then she'd just order it and then it would come get dropped off.
Epic.
Yeah. But because, his mom was paying for it, he was a sadistic son of a bitch. And so he's like, when his friends came to stay over, he would order the hottest, spiciest food he could. Because he actually kind of liked spicy. I think he got to that point where he couldn't taste anything unless
Right.
it was just laden
like an
with
addiction.
spice. Yeah, and I think he just destroyed his taste buds.
Yeah.
And he couldn't taste anything unless it was just like killing you.
Right.
But then he'd love to torture his friends who came to stay over because he would order like a pizza with like extra chili and stuff, but like
Right.
mad amounts of chili.
Right.
And that stuff was so spicy. Just takeaway pizza in South Africa with lots of chilies on it, spicier than anything I've eaten in China.
Right. And it's just, there's no comparison.
Yeah, I'm just
Right.
saying,
No,
like,
that's a good.
you know, like
good
just normal
analogy.
takeaway pizza with lots of extra chili on it was like would numb your mouth and you couldn't breathe,
Yeah.
basically, and crying and, you know, like swelling up type thing. And then in China, you take Sichuan hot pot, and yes, it's spicy.
It's spicy, but it's not
but
gonna
it's not
kill you.
I've had worse, is what I'm saying.
It's more of the, honestly, if I could make an analogy, it's more of the gastrointestinal stuff that happens afterwards. Number one, because of the food hygiene.
Sure.
And number two, because of the amount of oil. That's what kind of runs through you and feels spicy in your stomach. Not
Right.
so much in your mouth.
yeah.
Definitely not in your throat, as you'll see.
So anyway, it turns out that spicy food is a gateway into fame in China. And it's kind of weird, but it's just something we pieced together over the years, because what you'll see foreigners who go to China, if they start to make videos and post them online, you know, on YouTube or the Chinese equivalents especially, they start posting online about themselves eating Chinese spicy food and be like, oh, it's so spicy, oh, I can't eat this. Suddenly they get a huge audience. And I think it's this whole, pride, this Chinese pride that, oh, look, they can't handle our
definitely
food.
part of it.
You know, they
It's
can't
definitely
handle,
part of it.
they can't do it. Look how they react. How they can't do it. They're just silly
If it
foreigners.
feels a lot of things, it's like, this is the idea, by the way. Some of this only ends up with them ending up famous, but a lot of them, what we found is they end up starting.
Yeah.
This is my theory. Starting from eating spicy food and not handling it.
Yeah.
And then freaking out and having like sweat and their nose is running and stuff. And then Chinese people are like, aha, foreigners can't eat it. And then all of a sudden, the bridge the gap is bridged.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they're doing Xinjiang genocide denial propaganda.
Yeah,
That's
pretty
what we'll show
much.
you in a second. But we wanted to kiss the ring a little bit and show one of the originals here.
One of the original big shills actually is his name is Hot Pot King. And you know, he's a
Does that not work perfectly?
yeah, because
Hot
hot
Pot
pot,
King,
Sichuan
spicy
hot
hot
pot,
pot.
spicy hot pot. So he got his start with that. Obviously, if you don't know who he is, he's a felon drug dealer guy who ran away to China and did propaganda and attacked us on various cases.
Yeah. So his first video
Yes.
was this. Just a little
三
clip.
鲜
Okay.
大包子，欢迎收看。
It's actually kind of funny because
启发的
It
刀
did
叉
really well
Oh,
in
wait.
China.
Before we continue, look what he got tattooed on his hand.
Chinese
He's got
flag on his
the Chinese flag tattooed on his hand. If you want to shill, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You may as well go all in.
So just a quick overview here. Dolce & Gabbana put out this video on this Chinese girl Chinese chopsticks to eat like
今天
different
我们
foods
首先
from
要
around the
向大
world,
家展
right?
示如
And
何用这
no
种
one
小
in
简
China would
化
ever
形
care
状的
about
餐
this.
具
No.
来
But until someone told them that it's racist,
Yes.
and then they got really mad, right? And it
Sure.
became this big
把
thing.
角
So
铁块形
he
状
made
的
this
餐具
parody video that did unbelievably well in China, but it's like pretty regarded. It's like mad regarded and not
Well,
funny at all.
It's not. It did very well in China, but then he
Yeah.
put it on YouTube and nobody watched it because it's
No,
stupid.
it's too dumb.
It's bad.
It's shit.
Low quality. It's a very bad attempt.
It's like so try hard and cringe.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it
keep
it was
going
his
to
first it was his first video.
Yeah.
Right? And that started him on the whole path.
Yeah.
Right? So I just wanted to kiss the ring a little bit. One of the biggest shills.
Yeah.
Give him the honor he so deserves.
Yeah, sure.
Anyway, continue on.
块形状的
Yeah,
餐
who's this
具
next
来
So this is a guy I found, okay? This guy, his name is Jerry, right?
Okay.
This is very interesting. This guy started as a very good Chinese speaker, right?
Yeah, he studied Chinese.
And he started making videos about things like visiting the hottest. I translated this. Visit the hottest Chinese restaurants in Chengdu and find this challenge Sichuanese to find spicy skewers, right?
Yeah.
It's the beginning of a channel, right? You go in there. This is years ago, obviously 4 years ago.
A plus，
Oh,
真的
this
很
place
辣，
is
好
great.
辣！
It's so
我
spicy.
很久没吃过 like 这个味道。
Typical classic, beginnings of a spicy shill vlogger.
Right. Right.
And then you go in, and then he's doing a hot pot. He's like, look at how spicy this hot pot is, right? Oh, he's going around trying to find which, if he can dip la tiao into spicy oil or something, right?
Right,
like
right,
those
right.
fried sticks or whatever.
All spicy.
Then,
yeah.
you go 1 year after that.
Sure.
So imagine this is a pipeline, right?
Yeah.
Starting at the beginning of the pipeline is spicy food.
Always starts with the food, the spicy. Oh, it's either like, oh, so spicy, or it's like Chinese dumplings are great,
Yes.
or oh, look, I can't use chopsticks properly. Something along those
Literally,
lines.
yeah. There's a couple
Yeah.
pipelines, but we're
Yeah.
focusing on the
Spicy. This is the spicy
pipeline.
pipeline, yeah.
So this Jerry Cowell, the next year,
Yeah.
what is he doing? He's going to the Beijing airport, which is another pipeline, the Beijing airport,
Sure.
the airports,
Yeah.
Chinese airports. And he goes to check the 5G speed. So we're on the 5G pipeline.
Yeah.
So he's slowly working his way to shill territory, right?
Yeah.
Then it gets super grim. All of a sudden, he puts this video out, right?
Okay.
And it's called "Just Got Back from China. Let me tell you about the coronavirus." This was actually covered in Western media, like in New York Times and stuff.
Okay.
He started doing full-on propaganda, and it was super sus because he was going around
Like in New York
City, right? Go to the next thing.
Yeah.
He's going around in New York City, and he just makes video after video after video about how China's response to coronavirus is so good, but America's is so bad. Oh, this person can't afford healthcare, and this, and like covering the most grim, dire thing. And he's getting boosted by Chinese state media simultaneously.
Yeah.
It was part of the whole,
Zero COVID is
zero
great.
COVID is great. Like China's got this under control. America's effed, right?
Yeah.
And keep going. There's just video after video after video of this shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he just goes on and on and on. He just really, and the reason it was sus is that you go on and you start seeing all these videos being posted on CCTV and China Daily.
Yeah. Here's People's Daily.
There's People's Daily, and they're like, oh, like this American shows you the truth about this and this and this. Right?
We've talked about how, previously in the China show, how if it's an American, they put a lot more stock in it,
Yes.
if you're from a developed country. So they used them a lot in state media, yeah.
And they also defended him in the Global Times,
And
by
then-
the way. Well, hold on.
Okay.
So they defended him in the Global Times, and they're calling him a Chinese propaganda running dog, but actually, this is an unbiased viewpoint. Blah,
Yeah,
blah,
sure,
blah.
of course they would.
And then, so he gets criticized on big mass media, right? And
Right.
everyone's like, holy shit, this is Chinese propaganda, psyop shit, right?
Yeah.
And it's all about how to make America look bad and China look good. Then he goes silent for a while.
Yeah.
And then circles right back around, back to the chili origins. He's starting to eat, oh, these are the hottest skewers. Look at how hot this Chengdu food is.
Yeah, exactly.
Right back to the chili origins.
I've actually noticed this, that with a lot of the shill channels and with these foreign influences in China channels, is they go back to the spicy. When things are starting to die down and the views aren't there anymore, they suddenly release another spicy food video.
No pun intended. When things get a little too spicy with the political shit, they go
Yeah.
back to the spice.
They do. It's kind of ridiculous.
In my case study 2, I want to look at why China. Okay. Now, why China is a massive media conglomerate led by this guy named Raz Galor here on the right.
Yeah, and his father's like a billionaire,
Like billionaire Israeli, crazy, scary
but
investor
he's got
type dude.
massive ties to Beijing, and that's why this has always
Why
been
his son does
boosted.
well,
Yeah.
Anyway, they have this massive media conglomerate, right?
Yeah.
And if you look back in the beginning, it's all about, oh, look at these foreigners. Can they eat weird Chinese spicy foods, right?
It's
And
a
they eat
spicy
some-
chicken foot.
That's a spicy chicken foot, right? They're like, oh, can we do it? And they're that's the guy right there. Right? They're having a competition on Chinese TV right there, right?
Right.
Let's see, can the foreigners eat our weird Chinese food?
Yeah. Wait, I think there's a. Let's see. Let's see who's in that audience. Oh, he didn't put in the someone who's coming later, right?
Oh, they'll come later. Don't worry.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, but then you fast forward, so that's like 5-6 years ago, right?
Yeah, it's all about weird spicy food and so on. Yeah,
and it's like, oh, foreigners can't handle this weird, crazy stuff, right?
Yeah.
Fast forward, Xinjiang genocide denial.
Of course. It always goes down to genocide denial.
So basically, they sent this guy out there, and he was used as a poster child on New York Times and BBC and all this kind of stuff because he was so blatant. They flew him or wherever to Xinjiang to go visit cotton farms where there was allegations of forced labor. And
he's like, look, there's no forced labor here.
Yeah, I put a clip in here.
Yeah.
But it was very on the nose and very obvious, and they did so many of these videos, right?
Yeah.
And they translated it into Uyghur, and they had like Uyghur subtitles and everything, and English subtitles.
Yeah.
And it was this big, huge signal boost thing about there's no forced labor in Xinjiang, there's no genocide in Xinjiang. I went there to prove it, right?
Yeah.
Turns out it was a massive state media thing.
Yeah, no, they had state media there to film him. They had film crews there to, it's typical.
So there you go, spicy chicken feet to genocide denial, right? The China Traveler. This guy's been in China since like 05 or some shit, right?
Yeah.
He's been around for ages, 07 or whatever. Anyway.
Yeah.
He's a massive travel vlogger in China. And I often forget about him for some reason. But it's very telling. He started out,
Chongqing.
He started out in state media.
Yeah.
In CRI.
Started
right?
working. I think he went over there as a job to work for state
for
media.
CRI, right?
Yeah.
But
China Radio International.
Yeah. If you look at this, a lot of his early content is spiciest hot pot in the world, spicy street food, right? So it's just foreigner, oh, it's spicy, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you basically flash cooking the meat here, put it in my garlic and oil accompaniment, and it's super spicy. Woo.
So that's the genesis, right? You fast forward.
Yeah.
What's he doing next? Xinjiang Vlog 2, and this is right in the middle of the Xinjiang genocide denial when they're trying to get foreigners up there to prove that there's no genocide.
Actually,
in Xinjiang.
I've got that thing called China's Genocide Theme Park. That video I did, I featured him in there because he also went to all the main tourist hotspots that they were taking everyone to.
Yeah.
It's part of like a genocide denial tour, basically.
It is, for real.
Yeah, so
Currently walking around a place here in Hotan called Tuantong, and this is really beautiful. Really beautiful. It's actually a project that's rebuilt dilapidated houses. You can see what the buildings looked like previously, and now.
I mean, this where he's walking around is basically like Disneyland. They built this place to look like a model ancient town
For genocide denial.
Yeah, exactly.
Literally.
And it's like when you go there, it's one of the big tourist hotspots
what they look like now.
to go.
And it is a huge transformation. 我是英国人。英国人。啊，可以拍照吗？可以拍照。
Anyway, they go through this whole thing. Just pause here. They go through this whole thing, and he basically starts off with the spicy shit.
Yeah.
And he's with state media and stuff, and then all of a sudden, where is he ending up? Doing tours of Xinjiang genocide denial tours.
Exactly.
Right?
So you're going to see quite the trend over here. So this is a new one I didn't even know about, but here's something called Luca and Rachel. And it's a
deep cut.
Yeah, it's an Italian woman who I guess married a Chinese guy.
You discovered this one.
Yeah, and so their whole thing is like, oh, Italian expat living in China, but actually no, they're not living there anymore. They left, like everybody does when they get the chance these days. And it also started with this. This is her Bilibili. They're pretty famous on Bilibili as well because it's a wealth code. If you use this whole chili eating thing, you become well known. You can see I just took a screenshot of some of the spicy food. It's basically just tons of these eating spicy
food in Chengdu. Picante, I mean spicy.
Yeah.
Insanely good and spicy street food in Hunan. It's Chinese spicy food challenge. Trying the spiciest street food in China. I mean, literally.
Yeah, spicy.
And this is some of the older stuff, right?
Yeah, exactly. From the beginning of their channel, you can see. Yeah, this. I put here. You can see her eating and just.
That's such a bullshit fake reaction.
No ragazzi, è incredibile. Provare per credere. Sono veramente... esplode la gola.
I love this throat thing.
When you eat spicy food, it doesn't hurt your throat.
It never hurts my mouth. Yeah.
Anyway. That's such bullshit. Like, it takes a while for that shit to kick in. She takes a little nibble. She's like, oh, it's incredible. It's such bullshit. I cringe out when I see this shit.
Yeah, me too.
It's so fake.
Yeah, here's some more. Yeah, exactly.
It's so spicy.
剧中的感觉猜这里都是辣辣味。
Oh my god.
Isn't it?
I want to die.
Isn't it cringe? Yeah.
I want to freaking die. That fake bullshit.
Anyway, so it started with the spicy food stuff. She did a bunch of those. And then it's all about Xinjiang cotton's forced labor denial, genocide denial. And then, of course, look at this. Doesn't this annoy you?
Yeah.
Is China really safe? The China they don't want you to see. She's taken my video titles because I made a video title called "Is China Really Safe?" and one of my big videos is called "The China They Don't Want You to See." So what does she do? She takes two of my video titles and puts them together.
I mean, they do that on purpose.
All do this to try and get my video pushed down.
Yeah. They've done this with multiple videos of ours that do really well, and they name it the same so they can push it down the rankings.
Yeah, and then look, she's got Tibet stuff. They also go to Tibet because remember, when you think about China, if you think about human rights atrocities, Xinjiang and Tibet always come up at the top. Okay, that's where you've seen some terrible things have happened in Tibet and Xinjiang, obviously. So what do? They go and do genocide denial, and they go to Tibet as well to whitewash all the atrocities that have been happening there.
Yeah, look at how it's improved under the CCP. That's their whole narrative.
I like how right underneath Tibet in a nutshell, it's like flag raising ceremony in Tiananmen Square, Beijing.
Wow!
Yeah.
If you got invited to that, by the way, you got some clearance in Beijing.
Yeah, if you get to go there in the early morning. Anyway, let's take a look. Xinjiang dancing happy Uyghurs.
Oh, geez, she's making me sick.
Yeah.
Doing this shit. They'll get the token Uyghur that's like hired to do this stuff.
Yeah.
And then they'll be like, look, there's no genocide happening here.
Now, I wanted to ask you, okay?
Okay.
If a Uyghur person is going to give you something, because you're a foreigner, you've gone to go meet them and dance with them for your genocide denial, what do you expect to get from a Uyghur as a gift?
Like a token gift that the government would want you to have?
Yeah.
I won't answer.
Yeah, let's take a quick look here,
You
everyone.
won't believe. Hold on. We need to make everyone understand.
Yeah.
In the height of this Uyghur genocide denial stuff that the CCP was doing, remember they're having a genocide in Western China. What they were doing is forcing Uyghurs to pick cotton.
Yeah.
And we found the ads. They were basically shipping troops of Uyghur people around the country to work basically for free.
Yeah.
And it was forced labor. It's bad, right?
Yeah.
So then all these companies like H&M and all these companies are like, we're not buying cotton from you guys anymore because you're using slave labor.
Yeah.
Right.
And then they started to boycott H&M.
And everyone in China's like, F you, weird. There's no forced labor here. And that's the whole part of that whole cotton thing that Raz Galore was doing on White China. So they way up at the top here. Let's see what she gives her as a gift.
So she gives us some naan bread or whatever, some
Sure.
Uyghur bread. And what else does she give her? Let's take a look.
这个呢，就是我们新疆的棉花，这是新疆棉花，对，最近比较有名的，代表我们新
Gave
疆。
her a bouquet of cotton. I'm sorry, but a bouquet of cotton. What do you even do with that? What can you do with a bouquet of raw cotton?
It's so in your face and on the nose.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
And I mean, if you understand Chinese, it's like, this is our Xinjiang cotton. This is really good quality Xinjiang cotton.
Listen to what
does she
said.
say?
好客，很温暖的啊，所以说新疆的棉花也温暖了我们整个中国。
H&M 不用太可惜了。
You could explain what that means.
So basically she's like, no, she calls out H&M, right?
Mm-hmm.
She says H&M 不要太客气了, right? And the whole thing is like, he's like, this is a symbol of our gratuity, like to welcome you here in Xinjiang. And then she calls out H&M because H&M was the head of the ban, the cotton ban. And the whole cotton ban thing was like basically to get everyone on board to be like, listen, until they figure out how to not use forced labor, we're not going to buy cotton
until there's like a due diligence and
Yeah.
we can actually see where it's coming from. We don't want to buy from Xinjiang.
But I wish I had found this clip earlier because I did the whole H&M coverage. I made a whole video about this and I found all these foreigners. They had paid foreigners around the world that didn't even know what they were doing. Like in different countries to like burn H&M shirts and like ripping them apart and stuff. So this is all part of that H&M thing.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, let's move on.
I just think it's, again, what do you do with a bouquet of raw cotton? What are you going to do with that? Use it as a sponge?
This is my symbol of, they would have never done this pre-cotton ban.
Yeah, but I think it's like, here's a dancing Uyghur with hair extensions.
Yes.
Okay. And a bouquet of cotton.
Yeah. It's everything that it's genocide denial in a photo.
Yeah, it is. Anyway, so you've seen the whole like eat spicy food and it leads to government propaganda where you actually end up being hired as a propagandist. But it can also just be used as a wealth code.
Yeah.
Okay. We
Just
like
to
to
get
use this
famous.
word wealth code because that's what Chinese people say. They use this word wealth code.
Yeah.
So in other words, if you eat spicy food on camera and you make a big scene out of it, like, oh, I can't handle it, you are almost guaranteed to be successful on the Chinese internet.
Yes.
Okay. And grow a massive fan base. And so here we decided to give some examples of people that are not necessarily, bad. They don't end up doing
not
shill
government
work.
shills.
Yeah, but they shill a little.
A little bit here.
But I mean, it's more about the grind. It's more about the hustle.
Yeah.
It's the hustle. Let's show you. So we got this guy, Ram Po Po, whatever the hell his name is. Okay, Brian.
Yeah. I know him personally. He actually reached out. I was like an inspiration for him when he started.
That's cool.
And
Yeah.
I'm not.
You
I don't
inspired him.
I don't like where he went.
No, I mean it's cringe. Anyway, let's take a look at what
I can't watch his shit.
Well,
it actually makes me uncomfortable.
Just gonna have to see what he's up to. So he's very famous on Bilibili, as you can see here. He's got a lot of followers and he's got a lot of views for his videos. Because this is the kind of thing Chinese people love to watch on the internet. Anyway, I took a couple of screenshots. He loves to do the spicy food thing.
He's the spice king.
He started out with spicy food and he keeps dropping spicy food stuff in every once in a while to like rejuvenate his
It's all
views.
about spice.
Yeah.
For him.
So I thought I'd show you some of his handiwork here.
It's not just 辣椒粉，这是外国人的噩梦。
Yeah.
I hate that. What did he say?
Just Waigor and Umang. This is a foreigner's nightmare.
Yeah.
You know?
It's just playing right into it. He knows his role here.
That's the thing is he knows what to do. He knows how to play the game.
Yeah.
Because that's not a foreigner's nightmare.
What are you talking about? What, like an Indian person, a Mexican person, any American? Most Americans I know eat spicy food.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
If you want to say it's a nightmare, you can say it's everyone's nightmare.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
You could say it's everyone's.
This is a person who doesn't like spicy foods nightmare, not a foreigner's nightmare. But you see, that's the whole point.
Yeah.
We had to drive that home, is that this idea that foreigners cannot eat spicy food is where this whole wealth code comes from.
Yep.
You know? Anyway, let's see his cringe reactions. Please put your cringe hats on.
Oh, I can't watch this.
Oh my god.
I mean, the thing that cringes me out the most is because I know him, right?
Right.
His whole thing was like, he knew what he was going in from the get-go.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even necessarily that he was like mad, like into food or anything. It was, that's what you do. You go, if you want to be a famous Chinese speaker in China, you either go the food route or you go shill route.
Yeah.
And now a lot of the food route has rerouted into shill route,
stuff,
right?
Yeah.
And he didn't go full government shill or anything like that.
No, but like there's tastes of
tastes.
shillness. Like, remember, okay, you see, this one says only 42K views. That is on YouTube. On the Chinese social media, got tons of views, okay? And what is this?
Oh, he's huge. Yeah.
Yeah, what is this?
Oh, this is him going around. They used this on State Med, pulled some up, right, to see if this was proper shill. It was.
Yeah.
There's state media articles I was reading in Chinese earlier about how this foreigner went, and it was so easy to get a COVID vaccine in China, and they even had fluent English speakers to help people out and stuff.
Sure.
Because there's so much controversy when foreigners were trying to get vaccinated in China. It was like an absolute
yeah, it was very
nightmare.
difficult. Anyway, here's the thing, though. So you made this video about COVID vaccines, Chinese COVID vaccines. Remember, there was a lot of press about the Chinese COVID vaccines being ineffective and not good.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. In this video, he phones his friend in America, I guess, and let's see what his friend has to say, because this is kind of important.
Heart problems and stuff, right? We went to go see his cardiologist back in like late January, and we were kind of concerned. You know, we're like, you know, heart trouble and like all these side effects we're hearing stuff.
Yeah.
Should my dad get it? And he was like, well, yes, for sure. Like it's definitely worth any risk. But then he was like, but you know, if we had the choice, we would get the Chinese one.
No way.
Oh, so it was his
Did you
cardiologist.
see, hold on, go back to Brian's reaction. Did you see him start reacting before he even said it? Mm-hmm. Look at that. Watch, right before that line.
Yeah.
Watch this, if I had a choice. Which is so scripted, by the way.
Yeah.
That's such a Chinese propaganda script about that. Like, if you give someone a choice, they will choose the Chinese vaccine. That was part of the propaganda campaign.
So, you know, his friend in America is saying that his dad had heart problems, and the cardiologist said, oh, well, you know, American vaccines, they've got all these side effects, but hey, if we had a choice, we'd give you the Chinese one because it's better. Come on, dude.
off.
Seriously?
Full of shit.
Anyway,
get us out of there. Look at the reaction.
yeah, there. Look,
Before he even says it.
Yeah, he hasn't. Look at his face; he's already smiling. Yeah.
Watch.
Yeah. So.
We would get the Chinese one.
No way.
See, he doesn't know he's gonna say that.
No, of course not. He's like, no way, but he already had a big smile on his face.
This is all arranged.
And-
It's so obvious.
And take a look at
Especially if you
the,
read the articles.
you know, look at the subtitles in Chinese on there, like the thumbs up and everything. A big thumbs up for the Chinese vaccines.
See? It's
Get
so
on board.
obvious.
Yeah,
It's
come on.
absolute propaganda.
Yeah.
And if you read the articles, they're verbatim exactly what this is about.
Yeah. So I mean, here's the thing though. He didn't go full shill. You don't see him
No.
going like Xinjiang
Jinping
genocide
Yeah.
denial or something, but he still does the the propaganda.
This is the only overt one I found that I could see.
Chinese one.
No way.
So yeah, he's not like the other guys.
Yeah, but then he goes and does the whole like, oh, this is the process to get vaccinated. Oh, it's so easy. China's got it so sorted out. You know, the usual type of shit.
Sure.
That's what you'd expect. But remember,
But it led him to extreme fame in China, the chili thing.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, though. If you want to keep your wealth code going, if you want to keep your audience happy, if you want to make sure the Chinese government doesn't cancel you, you have to do this kind of thing from time to time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just how it is.
Anyway,
Yeah.
get the idea.
Yeah, I know. This is blah, 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 blah. This guy's seriously a cringe lord. Anyway, next we'll move on to Blondie in China, who's another kind of travel vlogger. She has done shill stuff with like state media and been with the shills and stuff, but again, that's not her main thing. She's
It's
actually
also
fairly
not overt.
innocuous.
Yeah,
she's
fine.
she's doing the grind, you know.
Yeah, it's
again,
the grind,
she's doing
the
the
China
grind.
grind.
Yeah, she's becoming successful through spicy food.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. It's
Yeah.
definitely the Lajiao pipeline.
Yeah, so she's
Chili
also got
pipeline, sorry.
a lot of these guys. What you don't realize is, these YouTubers, the China shills. I'm not
Yeah.
calling her a shill, by the way. I'm just saying the China shills and all the guys that are in Chinese media. They mirror their stuff. YouTube is actually their secondary output.
Yeah.
Their primary output is for Bilibili.
Yeah.
And Chinese media.
Yeah.
But then they double up and put it on YouTube, and they actually earn more money from YouTube because YouTube pays better.
Well, not only through ad rev.
Yeah, the
they
ad
earn
rev, yeah.
way more in China through product placement
through
and stuff,
sponsorships and
sponsors
things,
and
yeah.
paid trips. Way more. We know how much some of those guys are
Yeah.
making.
Anyway, so she started actually with spicy foods, one of her first videos.
There you go.
Okay.
Lajiao pipeline.
Yeah.
Lajiao is how you say chili, by the way.
Yeah. And then she, you can see that was 4 years ago. Then 2 years ago, she got her parents to try spicy food. And then, she did another spicy food thing.
It's the spicy food pipeline.
Yeah. And then she did a year ago. Because, again, when the views dip, you do a spicy food video.
You go back to the spice.
And then, actually, 5 months ago, she did another one. And then, 6 or 7 hours, she did another spicy food one. So it's all about the spicy food. You know what I mean?
Yum! Let's go. Actually crying at this spice right now. There's liquid coming out all my holes.
I learned a very valuable lesson from this experience. Don't underestimate Chongqing spice or judge it from your first bite. It's all about the hojiao, the after spice, and I tell you, it is a killer. To catch up with the others, so I started gulping down that rödelul.
It's like very here, right here.
Yeah, the throat.
I haven't eaten for like a minute, but it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. Oh!
Not
Yeah.
that spicy.
No. Anyway, you get the
I
idea.
like that. This
Yeah, you play it up.
But then, then it leads to maybe talking about a little bit of 5G
is the first time
AI.
I'm realizing
cameras
just how
on the
high tech
crops.
they actually
Yeah.
are. There is
Yeah.
a device for everything you
at
could
this
possibly
bullshit.
need here.
Yeah.
This morning I'm joined
Yeah.
by Bama Tea and Seafield Manager Wang. He's going to be walking me through what actually goes into managing a large tea field like this.
对面哈，对面那个山头上面的。
那个上面的那个
So anyway, it's all about the technology they use for making tea and,
Right.
the usual kind of push.
And that's whatever.
It's soft propaganda. Like I said, it's harmless. I've got nothing against her. I've got nothing against Vaccine Boy either, other
No,
than
they're
a stupid
fine.
vaccine
I
video.
don't like their concept
No.
per se, but they're not bad people.
No. It's the first guys we showed you and many more like them who actually use the chili pipeline to get into doing sinister
Shield them.
stuff. Like sinister, like, hey, genocide denial.
Real bad stuff.
Let's whitewash human rights atrocities
Yeah.
stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much the chili pipeline.
I mean, the chili pipeline is so much bigger than that, though. I mean,
Yeah.
we could do this all day.
We had so many others lined
Yeah.
up, but we're like, we have to keep it short so
Yeah,
we
yeah.
can, just give you an idea. And there are a couple of other pipelines as well.
Yeah, so we have the ear cleaning pipeline.
Yes, there's the ear cleaning
we
thing.
have the trains high-speed
high-speed rail pipeline, yeah.
What else? We had some other ones.
Yeah, we'll remember it later.
Yeah, there's the airport pipeline.
Dumplings for sure.
Dumpling pipeline. That's
There's
one of
a
the OG
massive
pipelines.
one. Yeah, that's even probably bigger than the chili one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just the whole chili thing is like I had a couple people in my head that turned out to be absolutely. If my memory serves me correct, it was those guys, and they started with chili, spicy food, and you end up a shill.
Yeah.
Or you just get mad famous and you just ride the chili pipeline all the way to the end.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's very interesting. Actually, it's funny. It just reminded me. Remember, it was a couple years ago that me and you and my wife did a ghost pepper or something. Was it Carolina Reaper?
Yeah.
It was an experiment because we were seeing so many people do this chili thing in China.
Yeah.
We're like, I wonder if this would actually do well. We only did one.
Yeah, I did one for, I think it was for Patreon.
For
only
Patreon or something.
yeah.
But anyway, I don't think it did very well. But anyway, I think the chili pipeline only works in obviously there's hot food stuff on Western internet, right?
Yeah.
That's
But
a
it just
thing.
does incredibly well in China.
It starts your career.
Yeah.
Which is wild.
Yeah, exactly. You know that Ram Po Po, whatever his name is.
Xiàbān
Hòu, right? Xiàbān Hòu, that, you know, the little guy going like, it's so spicy, that guy, you know. He actually has got people drawing fan art of him, like, reacting to spicy food. Yeah, no, he's huge.
The whole, like, going to China and not being able to eat spicy food because it's too hot, or being able to because you get used to it or something, is literally a cultural phenomenon.
Yeah, you could do it. Like, if any of you guys out there want to suddenly make a quick buck or, you know, become famous in China, you know, go eat some spicy food and pretend you can't handle it on camera.
It's very easy.
Yeah.
Be fairly good looking.
Yeah.
Get a decent quality camera. If your audio is better than a 2 out of 10, then you're better than all of Chinese state media already.
Yeah, it's a wealth code. Absolutely.
All these YouTubers have better production quality than all of Chinese state
They do.
media.
They absolutely do. That's where they just use their stuff.
They do.
Anyway, it's question time, guys. So please remember, VIP Club, you ask us anything you want. Put a Q in front of your question and hit it in the chat and we'll answer for you.
You betcha. So, guys, I'm going to pull up the last episode real quick so I can have
those other questions
from last time, just so I don't forget anybody. I don't want to leave anybody behind.
Sure.
But I will bring up while you guys are formulating your questions and getting your cues ready.
Yeah, we got to do the live ones first.
Yeah, but we got to wait for them to come in.
Okay.
We do in line. Gordon Jennings brought up the Honorable Magician. He wanted to know what was the animal sound that he was making with a hong hong. We wanted to also give you an update that we have another Honorable Magician clip coming up. It's fantastic.
Yep.
We knew you guys loved the first one. It became it became a cult classic.
Mm-hmm.
It became a cult classic on Xiàbān Hòu, so we got a sequel.
Yeah, it's coming up. We'll be doing it next week. So next week, Monday, you will be seeing some more Honorable Madisha.
Yes.
Honorable Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Magician, as we call him.
Yeah, exactly.
Mark says, when they say spicy in China, how many Scoville units are we talking about? Well, I mean, here we go. Like, if I pull up, like...
maybe just Sichuan Hot Pot, Scoville.
Well, they use Thai chilies, right?
Yeah.
Scoville unit, yeah. They use Thai chilies for most of this stuff. It's 50,000 to 100,000 heat units, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's hot, but it's nothing wild, right?
No, that's the thing. It's actually not that bad. It looks intimidating because usually they have a whole bunch of chilies floating around in like a hot pot with chili oil and stuff. And it looks like, man, that looks like it's going to be spicy.
Here we go. So Chongqing's infamous hot pot, the very spicy one,
it
has 100,000 Scoville units at max.
A maximum 100,000.
So, yeah, I mean, the Carolina Reaper, it was like 6 million.
Yeah.
So it's not the same, guys.
It's not, and that's what we're trying to say is that it looks spicy.
Yeah.
It's actually not. It's not.
It's spicy, but it's not crazy.
Yeah, it's not like what you would expect when you see the reactions of these foreigners. That like, oh my goodness, this is like the worst thing ever.
Hamming it up, you know.
Yeah, it is. It's hamming it up. Yeah.
Paul Archibald says, when we were living in Xiàbān Hòu province, due to all the travel restrictions and lack of private transport and late payments of salary, you felt trapped. When did you get this feeling? But 2017, it got nasty.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's the thing. There were always situations where things were dicey for me in China.
Yeah.
You know, with companies not paying on time and things like that. And it's always very
scammed.
Yeah, it's always very sus. But obviously, it was right at the end, around about 2018, when it was definitely I decided it's time to leave now.
Yeah. Al Hollywood says. Xiaoma's latest video was sponsored by Temu. Is this worth doing a deep dive on it?
Who's Xiaoma?
Xiaoma. Why is that so familiar?
No idea.
Xiaoma. Oh, Xiaoma NYC. I know him.
Right.
Oh, he was sponsored by Temu, eh?
Interesting.
Maybe I'll have a little chat.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. You don't have to do a deep dive. I'll just ask them. You don't have to deep dive. Interesting. Thanks for letting me know. Friendly Nanny. Some people are just doing the grind. He's definitely one of them for sure. Yeah. Friendly Nanny Dog. How are...
it's one of those don't hate the player, hate the game kind of thing.
Type of things. Yeah.
The whole chili, like eating chili thing to become famous is dumb.
It's dumb as hell.
It's really dumb.
It's dumb as hell.
But hey, sometimes you do it and it boosts your career forward. But the problem is you kind of pigeonhole yourself. Look at Ran Po Po,
Why is he Ran Po Po?
I don't know why.
You can read the characters.
Yeah, of course I can. But I kind of like to call him Ran Po Po for some reason.
It rolls off the tongue.
Yeah, that guy... he kind of pigeonholed himself into that, wow, it's so amazing. But the thing is, like, when he left China fairly recently, last year or so, he tried to do that in the West, going to Western restaurants, like, this is the most amazing Cuban food or whatever. And then he got no views. No one cares because it's only a China phenomenon.
Yep.
So you don't want to be like, it's spicy guy 10 years down the line.
We saw this happen. A lot of people. Big in China is only big in China.
Yeah.
You cannot take that elsewhere. Look at even like a really big example would be like Dashan.
Yeah.
The most famous foreigner in China's history is nobody abroad.
Yeah.
He's a king. Yeah. He sits on the gala. He's probably met like the top leadership in China, right? But he's nobody elsewhere. No one knows who he is.
Yeah. Because that kind of formula only works in China.
Yeah.
And it works very well because it's all about that sort of pride and the us versus them kind of mentality that you get. So it's novel to see a foreigner try our Chinese foods and fail at eating them, or look at these foreigners trying to use our chopsticks, but they can't do it properly. So it's that whole novel, look at the cute circus animal, basically.
Yep.
So it works. It works in China, but unfortunately, when they leave, it doesn't.
For sure. Friendly Nanny Dog. How are LBGT treated in China? We've done both done huge things.
Shit.
It's not like in the Middle East or something. We'll throw you off a building.
They're just not taken seriously. And
you
they
won't
don't
be
have
taken
rights.
seriously. You don't have rights, and people will ostracize you. Yeah. You'll find some people that think it's fine or novel, and no one's gonna beat you up in the street for it. But you will be socially ostracized for sure.
Yeah, you can't get married if you're gay or whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Mr. Keys, can I advertise my painting houses services? Do you paint houses? If you need your house painted, you go to Mr. Keys and he will sort you out.
You gonna paint your house? Sure.
Hey, you need your house painted? You go to him. Mm-hmm. Also, did you guys buy Resident Evil 4 remake?
I did. I pre-ordered it, which is against my morals to pre-order games because I've been burned. I got burned with Mass Effect Andromeda.
I thought you said you already played it.
Yeah, I pre-ordered it.
Oh, you pre-ordered it and then played it. You made it sound like it didn't come out yet.
No, it came out like 2 days ago.
Yeah, you told me you were playing it.
Yeah, I'm quite far now.
It's good, or
yeah,
it was okay.
Yeah. Here's the thing: like the original one, I'm so nostalgic for it. It's like that is actually I realize probably my favorite game of all time.
Oh, wow.
Is the original Resident Evil 4.
Interesting.
Just surrounding, like what happened in my life at that time and the games and my friends who were playing with it, that. So. On the GameCube, and I played it, I loved it. And so I was a bit skeptical about 4 living up.
Right.
And it'll never be able to capture that original, but it's got a lot of the original DNA in it. And I can enjoy it, and it's fun. And I am enjoying it, and it is cool.
Gotcha.
So I'm going to give it a big thumbs up.
Okay.
Yeah, but nothing will ever, touch the original, but it's close.
Gotcha.
It's reaching for it.
Gotcha.
It's almost there.
Gotcha.
It's like...
I think I would feel the same way if remember you're the Resident Evil guy, I'm the Tomb Raider guy.
Yeah.
If as much as I want them to make a Tomb Raider 2, one of my favorite games of all time, maybe top 3.
Yeah.
If they made a remake of that, I would love it.
Yeah.
But I would absolutely never love it as much as the original.
Sure.
It's just not the same.
That's how it is, yeah.
Doc Slothington says, is Jaunty on the fastest man alive pipeline? Oh, for sure.
Oh,
Jaunty has managed to avoid anything nefarious. That's why we've never thrown him under the bus.
Yeah, he was part of the Beijing Olympics.
Whatever,
in a big way.
He was an intern at freaking.
Yeah, I know.
Whatever.
He was heading down that route.
Yeah, I don't think he does it anymore.
No, I don't think so either. But
I think he stopped ages ago.
That's some top level government. Stuff,
but it's not evil.
No,
right?
it's not.
It's not like effed up.
Of course not. No.
Right.
That's why we like him.
Studio Miguel, is there anyone legitimately doing like a Hot Ones versus just faking it? Yeah, I mean, I feel like everyone's faking it in this Lajiao pipeline. Like Hot Ones, they're eating stuff that's 5 million Scoville units. And actually, as much as I don't care about the whole chili, like, oh, it's spicy thing, that's a really interesting concept because you start not spicy and you end up spicy and you talk to someone famous as they try to get through like personal questions. That's an interesting format.
It's fun.
It's novel.
It's novel. It's a novel concept.
This is not that.
No,
this
is
like,
just
listen
like
to me chew.
This is like, oh, us foreigners can't eat this spicy food, basically.
We are low.
Yeah.
We can't do this.
It's like,
also,
how
listen.
can all these people be eating it around me, but I can't, you know? And then they go out with their Chinese friends, and their Chinese friends are like, oh, you know, this is our local specialty. And they're like, oh, how can you handle this?
They probably also say Xiàbān.
Yeah.
Western food.
Yeah, probably.
Spirit of the time, duvets or sheets and blankets? Discuss. Sheets and blankets.
I always call it a duvet. I used to always call it a duvet. You
Yes,
know what I
just
don't?
British English
You know what
versus
I don't
American.
like is when people call a couch a settee.
No one ever said that here, ever in the history of mankind.
What else do you call it?
That's a South African thing.
Settee?
Yeah.
I think it's British, maybe.
I bet you it's more common. How do you spell it?
I think it's probably I don't even know how you spell it. Settee? Ti? Settee?
Medium-sized sofa with arms and back.
There we go.
No, I just want to see where it's.
Yeah, where's it from? It's like, I think older people called it a settee. But I don't call it a sofa. I call it a couch.
Me too.
Yeah.
We can.
Yeah, we can agree on that one. So yeah.
Yeah, it's British English apparently.
Yeah,
but it's old. Oh yeah, old British English.
Yeah, like, you know, my grandparents and stuff would call it a settee, I guess.
So I got another one for you.
What's that?
So I call it couch.
Yeah.
Right? I feel like sofa, you know what, settee for you is like sofa for Americans.
Okay.
Like old people would say sofa.
Okay.
You know, I would say older people.
All right.
Couch is like what people our generation and younger would say. You know what, my grandma grew up in Ohio, 13 brothers and sisters.
Okay.
Absolute Nong.
Yeah, sure.
Nong is like a rural farmer.
You would have to if you're going to have 13 kids.
Straight
or
up
whatever.
Nong, like super middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Cornfields, you know?
Yeah.
Grew up with wide livestock.
Yeah.
Do you know what she called it growing up? Because she used to babysit me and obviously
I don't know.
she was around all the time. She called it a Davenport.
Oh, yes.
She'd be like, sit on the Davenport. But it wasn't like posh. It was like gross. It was
Yeah.
like, and she refused to call it anything else.
Isn't it? But a Davenport is something else, isn't it?
I guess it's
Like
a brand of couch,
like a
actually.
chest or something. Look it up. What is a Davenport? I'm pretty sure it's like I don't think it's supposed to be a couch. I could be wrong. That is a big
is a
couch.
Davenport? The British term means writing desk, but as a
Yeah,
name of
that's what
series
I was
of-
thinking.
Oh no, Massachusetts Furniture named a series of sofas called Davenport.
That's why. So they're like, oh, a writing desk. Let's use that name for a couch.
Yeah, apparently.
That's
Or
why I always think a Davenport is like a chest of. In my mind,
okay.
it's like a some wooden thing,
Sure.
because I've definitely heard of being something being called
Davenport.
Davenport's
I
a
used
writing
to cringe
desk.
so bad. And she had this Davenport, this couch. It was disgusting. It was
Yeah.
like a photorealistic print of like autumn leaves
Right.
on like a beige thing, and it was like felt.
Oh,
Like, you know that like fake velvet feeling?
suede type thing.
No, like you know, like
Velour?
like velour, like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
But it was like photorealistic leaves.
Oh, it sounds
It
terrible.
was so bad. But it was just a cover, and inside is the cheapest foam you've ever seen in your life.
You know,
Horrid
what the worst couches that I ever saw, like the way they look, is my parents, when I was young, had a set of furniture, and it was brown corduroy. You know corduroy?
Yeah.
With chrome,
Oh,
like handles. So they had chrome and like those sharp chrome.
Disgusting.
You know, it was like sharp chrome, but it was brown corduroy with chrome. It's like such a bad combination. Who actually went to a furniture store and said, "That's what I want"?
that's bad.
It's bad.
That's bad.
Yeah.
My parents, we were so poor growing
Yeah.
up. My parents got their furniture from like Goodwill or some shit, and it
Yeah.
was just like wrecked, very, very harsh, like almost,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like that kind of 90s wicker, like almost like a sea foam, like a picture of a seashells, and it's like
Yeah.
that blue green.
Yeah, I know what
it
you
was
mean.
like that, but like harsh. It was
Okay.
horrible and hard to
Sounds
sit on.
terrible. Yeah, I'm pretty sure my parents got that given to them by family members
Yeah,
or
yeah.
something. Like
My
hand
parents
me
were poor
down.
as shit.
Yeah, mine too. So
You too, yeah.
that's But anyway, it was just in my mind. I remember this like brown corduroy with chrome. Corduroy's a shit
Corduroy
fabric,
is
dude.
so bad.
You know, I once had a car that had corduroy seats in it.
Jeez, were they brown?
Yes.
Oh hell yeah.
They were that dark chocolate brown of the
I
corduroy.
don't even wash that out.
That's the beauty, is you don't know if they're dirty or not.
That's
Someone
true.
could take
you
a
could
dump.
shit your pants.
You wouldn't know. And it goes in between
much,
the gaps.
You could have too much
Yeah.
Sichuan hot pot and shit the car.
Yeah.
People just know it by the smell.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on. Sorry.
That's a tangent.
Big tangent.
Corduroy pipeline right there.
Yeah.
Eastwood says, I love spicy food. My favorite spicy food is Mexican and Thai. How hot can Chinese food be? Is it as hot as Thai food? Not even freaking I went to Thailand a month after I moved to China.
Yeah.
And because I had some Sichuan food and stuff.
It's one of the most talked about foods when you go to China is Sichuan hot pot. Everyone knows
it's okay.
Yeah. It's not bad. We're not saying it's bad.
No.
But it's not spicy
I like
as they
Sichuan
say it is.
dishes. Like the actual dishes are pretty good.
Sure.
But I went to Thailand. It was astronomically spicy. And I wasn't out to go find the spiciest food. Like the average food was 10 times spicier than anything in China.
Yeah.
Thailand kicks its ass. Dylan, I used to live in China. Chinese Americans, we all love stereotypes. People love stereotypes. It justifies things in our mind and is comforting to have one's views justified. Your thoughts? I mean, to a certain extent.
Yeah.
I think there's some like terrible stereotypes that are just that are out to make people look worse than other people, which are bad.
Yeah.
But there's fun stereotypes too, you know?
Yeah, look, in
regional stereotypes.
you got to understand that stereotypes are there for a reason, okay? They have, for some reason, you know, proliferated, and that's because, you know, there's some truth behind them, but they get exaggerated.
Yeah, and that's the problem.
You can't also just take a broad brush and say everybody from that area is going to be like that, or everybody of that race is going to be. That's incorrect. But you can have like a broad stereotype.
It can be fun.
Yeah.
Right. Udi888 says, can you guys talk about alcohol flush reaction or allergies? Reactions to alcohol sometime? Yeah, absolutely. Let's actually put that in the notes because I have a whole thing about. I've been studying that recently. It's actually when alcohol flush comes up. There's enough studies now that shows that that's actually not just a fun little trope. Like, oh, they can't drink. It's actually horrifically damaging to you.
Oh, what, the red stuff?
If you have alcohol flush syndrome, you're actually poisoning yourself and you can die. It means that you don't have the enzymes to break down alcohol. It's not like, oh, you can't drink. It's actually killing you.
Right.
It's really, really dangerous.
Yeah, it's interesting. I've got a lot of Chinese friends who have that.
Yeah, for sure.
It is very prolific in
is.
China. Of course, depending on where you are. I found it a lot more in the south.
Absolutely. Absolutely. A lot of the Manchurian blood and the Mongolian blood and stuff up north, I found those people can drink like fish.
Yeah.
You go down south and you get that flush, it's very dangerous for those people to get drunk. It's not good.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's actually worth talking about because
Definitely.
not only can we talk about that, we'll also talk about the concept of guomin. The concept of allergies in general is fascinating. That's a whole nother topic because in China, it's looked at from a non-scientific perspective. And you know when people are like, well, you could just look at traditional Chinese medicine like the other side of things. It can actually be life or death.
Yeah.
Because when you look at it from a non-scientific perspective and you look at TCM from the perspective of allergies that can kill people, and then people just, you know, brush it off. Oh, you just have a little bit here and there. You get used to it.
What? Yeah.
You can die.
Yeah, well, you know, like on the seafood street in Shenzhen, they've got an allergy hospital on that street.
Yeah.
And I know people that are allergic, they have allergic reactions, but they'll be, oh, it's just this one time, and they keep going back.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
You remember what my father said? I'll bring it up.
Yeah, we'll do a whole thing.
It's actually, let's vote on that today.
Okay, allergies.
It sounds.
I can dig up all that footage. I probably have footage of that allergy hospital and stuff.
Yeah, and we can talk about it because I know quite a bit about this. It was something that bothered me, and I don't have allergies, but I know people that do, and it was never taken seriously, and they can die. I remember my wife almost died. I called you. Well, but we have a whole thing on.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. Remember my whole shrimp allergy that I've got? And every single time, ask them, do you have shrimp in here? And they'll be like, no.
Nope.
And there would always be shrimp in there.
Yeah.
Like every time.
Every time.
Yeah.
It's like if they say no, it's yes.
Yeah. No means yes.
Yes.
No just means yes. It's a good thing my allergies are not bad.
Yes.
You know?
Geez, it can be dangerous.
Yeah, if you had like a severe peanut allergy or something, don't go to China.
You're toast.
Anyway, that's for next time. Move on.
Sorry, don't tell me to move. Huh?
We just keep going on about this topic that we're supposed to cover at another point. Yeah.
Rogue Noir. Did anyone see the viral video from China where the girl threw her younger brother into the well?
Yeah.
I have some conflicting reports about whether the boy survived.
I don't think it was a younger brother. It was just another kid in the village, and pretty sure he didn't survive.
Yeah, the official narrative is that he did.
Yes.
Which means that he probably didn't.
You don't drop
official narrative.
You don't drop a 4-year-old into a well that's 2.5 meters of water deep and then take forever to try and rescue him, and he survives. So unfortunately, I don't think there's a good ending to that story.
Hopefully we're wrong.
Yeah.
Andrea Jefferson, I've seen your videos on pollution on farms.
Yeah.
And water in wandering China. Any idea if the tea farms are also polluted? That video of tea farms had me. Oh, absolutely. The groundwater in China, the vast majority of all groundwater in China is polluted.
Yeah, and it's too expensive to filter it.
Yeah.
So, the thing is, they just use it anyway.
Yeah. There's no clean water in China.
Yeah.
There
It's
just
unfortunate.
isn't.
It's like 90% of all the...
It used to be
waters.
70, and that was like in 07 or something. We're talking like bad now. It's bad.
It's terrible. The soil, the majority of the arable soil has been tainted, and so is the water. And that's just the thing, though. People kind of get used to it. Huge amounts of pesticide and stuff is used too when it comes to growing rice and so on. We've seen it ourselves firsthand, riding in the countryside. In fact, I got footage of it.
Yeah.
They just spray the crap out of it. And remember, we find all those like empty bottles everywhere.
Yeah.
Because remember, certain chemicals that get banned overseas because of whatever reasons, there's no oversight in China.
No.
They still use those chemicals because guess what? They're very, very effective. And at the end of the day, it's all about making money now.
Yes.
Don't care about the future. So, things like DDT, for instance, I'll use that. It was a great thing, a pesticide that everyone was using in the West until they found out that it was actually creating health problems in people and really messing with the groundwater and stuff. So they stopped using it. But in China, if they can use it, I'm not saying they're using DDT, but they use something that is very effective like that and don't care about the side effects.
Unchecked.
Yeah.
It's bad. Like whole villages will have kids with cancer and stuff.
Yeah.
It's real great.
Terrible stuff, yeah.
And then they can't report on it.
Yep.
Sonics, what do you call, this is for you, Winston, what do you call a cow on the ground?
I don't know.
Ground beef.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, ground beef. Nice.
Martin Schemmel
like
says,
it.
what's your favorite sweet potato dish? I actually learned that if you take, I used to not like sweet potatoes, but now if you take a sweet potato and you wrap it in foil, put some oil on the outside, and then cook it at about 200 something degree, like really low heat, all day.
Okay.
All the sugar, it's not that sweet.
Yeah.
The sugars start caramelizing and it gets mad sweet and
okay.
gooey. It's really delicious. That's my favorite sweet potato dish.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I guess sweet potato fries are pretty good.
Yeah, those are good too.
Yeah.
I've grown into them. I didn't used to like them. Friendly Nanny Dog. Are the high-speed rails in China actually used and as amazing as the pro-CCP Americans claim they are?
They're pretty good.
They were.
I've been on the high-speed rails a lot. I've actually done some
me
videos
too.
about them too. There's nothing wrong with them. They're actually pretty good. The problem is, of course, actually using them.
Yeah.
It's not about the trains themselves, but the crazy sort of clown show that goes along with it. The crowds of people. The fact that it's not very well controlled, so you just have people always sitting in your seat. Like an IE will sit in your seat. You get there with your ticket, but someone's already in your seat. That's super frustrating. They'll bring a little chair and sit in the aisle. They overcrowd it. It's a standing room. The people eating guaza and throwing the sunflower seeds on the floor. There's a lot of things not to like about traveling on them, but it's more about the system and the lack of being able to enforce good behavior. It's really frustrating. People playing their phones really loud, playing music and stuff.
They ran out of tickets one time. It was so annoying. So I was in Dongbei. I was in Jilin.
Yeah.
And I wanted the normal seat or whatever, but they only had the first class. Mm-hmm. So I got a first class ticket with my wife, and it was me, her, and then the mayor of Jilin City in there, and he had an entourage of hot women that dropped him off into there, and he's he's living the life of luxury. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. But yeah, the trains themselves.
Okay.
They're good.
They're fine.
They're pretty much I'm not going to say they're on time. In fact, they're very often late and so on. But when you get on the train and you travel, it's actually good. Yeah. It's totally okay.
The problem is they operate at a massive loss.
Of course they do.
And they don't actually connect the areas in between these places.
Yeah, to get to the train stations is a pain in the ass.
Oh yeah, I mean when I went to go shoot the dog meat festival thing, there was a city that had millions of people, right? That I was going to.
Yeah.
And a city nearby. I had to go to some other city, and then it took me 3 hours after that to get to it and on a shit train, one of those Soviet ones.
Yeah, the slow trains,
the bad ones, and it's going to a city with 3-5 million people.
Yeah,
right. It's not connecting the right places. It's
it's not.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Anyway, Egon Casterly says, I learned this week that Chongqing is the biggest city in China, but I know nothing about it. Why are Shanghai and Beijing so much more famous? Is it wealth? You'll see a lot more about Chongqing.
Chongqing has actually been at the center of a massive push of propaganda. So you'll see more and more about it. And I mean, I'm sure you've all seen that clip of like the train going through the residential building.
Ugly. I don't know why people like that so much. They do it in Japan.
But that's just bad planning.
Yeah, it's horrid.
Who would want to live in a building, especially in China where there's no soundproofing, where a train is going through your building? But anyway,
it's
Chongqing
actually a
will be
stop.
big.
That's a stop inside the building.
Oh, there's a stop in there. Yeah, why would you want that? So
you
where
wouldn't.
you live there.
Yeah.
Anyway, you'll see a lot more of it for sure. And the reason I think Chongqing's been out of the spotlight is for the longest time it was a very ugly city.
Hideous. Still is, but by and large.
Beijing, Shanghai, all these places, it's very beautiful. They've got beautiful areas, or at least famous areas. And it
was ugly and poor.
Yeah.
It used to be part of Sichuan, and then it got cordoned off. And by the way, if you ever want to read a good book, it's called Rivertown. There is millions of people that were literally, like, their villages were submerged to build all this shit.
Yeah.
And it got cordoned off, and now it's its own area. That's why it has so many people, and it's because it's massive. It's a huge swath of land.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's shitty. It's mad polluted, and it's ugly as F.
Yeah, but they've been putting a lot of money into like putting shiny skyscrapers and things. So you'll see more of it. A massive light show at night there, everywhere.
Yeah, it's dystopian as fuck, though.
Yeah, it is.
Not a question, but it's from Alex Nagasaki. I'd like to tell a tale from a pizza maker. Yesterday we had to order 212 large pizzas.
Wow.
And it took 3 hours to make. My soul and patience are exhausted. Well, props to you for that.
That's incredible.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I'm glad you got through it, and I hope you're getting a little bit of rest and relaxation right now.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Thanks for joining us. Yeah, Joe, have you heard about the fire at the Ford's battery supplier? SK, I am worried about the millennials forcing the West to give China to get their batteries to reach emission goals. That would be bad. I'm not familiar with it.
Yeah, there's a big issue with all the EVs, and I hate to talk about this, but the fact that the batteries for the EVs are so destructive to make, people don't seem to talk about that part.
They don't.
Especially when they're being made in China and generating all this massive pollution. They're digging up all the rare earths and all the lithium and stuff. You got like slave mines in Africa and things. There are a lot of bad things. So people drive around in their EV and they're like, oh, I'm doing so much good for the environment. But you've literally destroyed lives across the globe.
Yeah.
Across the globe.
It's not sorted yet.
I don't like to put guilt on people for things like that. But I mean, you have to also think of it from another point of view. EVs are not clean. They're actually, they're dirty.
Yeah.
They're foul. The process of making them.
Yeah.
They're fantastic pieces of technology.
Yeah.
And I think done right, it's a great way forward. But right now, like if you actually looked into where all these batteries are coming from, give you nightmares, man.
For sure. Sonic says, do big companies pay taxes in China like Tencent? They have arrangements.
Yeah, of course they do. They have to.
But there's arrangements.
Yeah. I mean, but everything is also scammy.
Yeah.
Because like I used to work at Tencent, and the guys in there would go with me to Huajiang Bay, and they'd be getting those fake fapiaos, which are tax receipts.
They're all scamming everything.
Because in every little department scams in their own way. Like, oh, we had to buy these computers, and they cost 1 million RMB. Meanwhile, they only cost 10,000, but then they paid for fake receipts to say it was 1 million, and then they get that rebate and stuff. So
they literally have people that sell fake receipts everywhere in China.
Yeah.
Gary McBrien, where's the poll for the next week's topic? We'll pull that up in a second.
Yep.
Cedric Hachez says, "Hey Winston, isn't that very helpful for someone who cuts himself up so often to have a wife, which is a doctor?" Oh, cuts. Yeah, I get it, yeah.
Nice.
Click all night. Do you guys follow Lay's Real Talk? She did a horrifying report yesterday about Chinese language media in the U.S. being heavily controlled by the CCP, local newspapers and channels, and Xvideos. That's awesome that she did that because that's something that doesn't get a lot of coverage. Is how much stranglehold the CCP has over the Chinese diaspora in the U.S., which is really effed up because a lot of people don't want anything to do with it.
Yeah,
they don't have a choice though.
That's right. Yeah.
Gary McBrien, have you ever read any of Ed In's Taipei Night Market novels? I have not, sorry.
No.
Martin Schemmel, which game would you suggest for the Pole of Dandong community game?
Port of Dandong. I have no idea what you would play in the Port of Dandong.
I think, what would we suggest for people to play?
In the Port of Dandong?
Anywhere, really.
I don't know.
I don't know.
What kind of game are you talking about here?
Like a video game?
Video game, a board game, tic-tac-toe, like a rock, paper, scissors. Because if you're in the Port of Dandong, depending if you're in the water or not. You don't have to worry about like what you're doing.
How about Treasures of the Deep on PlayStation?
Yeah,
it's an atmospheric game from Namco.
Yep.
Play that.
All right.
Click All Night. More important question. Have you guys played Valheim? I'm really into it. I have not played Valheim.
That rings a bell. What is that?
I'm pulling it up.
Okay.
It looks like a survival game.
Oh, okay. No, I never played it.
Good review as well. I have not played that. I have not even heard of that. It looks pretty cool though.
Right.
I'm like a boomer though. Like I have a hard time. What the
whatever, dude.
Is that?
I don't know, dude.
What is that?
Just a bad.
It's a mod.
Thing. Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Why are there so many theme park accidents in China? Is there some sort of safety standards? Silverio Goodwin. There are no safety standards in China. Well, there are on paper, but people don't fight.
That's the problem. The shortcuts are always taken in China. It doesn't matter what industry you're talking about here. Shortcuts. Why do you think, COVID leaked out of a lab? Okay. It's because they didn't do the safety protocols properly. Shortcuts are taken because when you've got a top-down management system like they have in China with the whole communist government and stuff, there's no incentive to do the right thing, okay? If you can get away with taking a shortcut, it only benefits you, okay?
Yeah.
And so we see this when, the guy's supposed to come and check the elevator, for instance, to make sure that it's okay and give it an inspection. Well, first of all, he doesn't want to get off his ass and do it, right? Nope. It's a hassle. He has to go do this and that and the next thing. So he'll just stamp it to say it's okay without looking at it.
Yep.
Okay. And also it's costly to do these inspections or so on. So the management company, usually they don't even bother hiring the guy, or they
don't want to pay for a new elevator.
Yeah. Or they pay the guy to send them a stamp that they do themselves.
That's
or
what
whatever.
They did. An elevator in my building collapsed and a family was in it.
So when it comes to, amusement parks, it's the same thing. Maintenance isn't done. Inspections aren't done. They just slap it together and, because it's cheaper that way. But it's bad. There's a lot of accidents. Don't go to amusement park in China.
No, it's death sentence. Juan Brown says, what platform are you playing the RE4 remake on, Winston?
I'm playing it on a PS5.
That's right.
And by the way, the PS5, I wanted one when they first came out, but it was impossible to get, and all those scalpers were like, really pissing me off because they'd buy them and sell them for $1,000 or whatever, and it took forever. And then finally my wife saw one like on sale or whatever, and so she got one for me for Christmas. That's how I got a PS5. It's my big Christmas present. So
it's easy to get now.
Yeah, they're easy to get now. And then, there's actually very few games for the PS5 that are useful.
I've had mine for years now.
Yeah.
I don't even play it.
The only game that was really good for me was the Horizon Zero Dawn, the new Horizon. Forbidden West or whatever it is.
And I tried that. Not my cup of tea.
I really like it. It's like I love that game. And then there was nothing else that was like PS5 worthy. So that's what
for me, it was Gran Turismo because you got me that wheel, and I love that game.
Yeah,
that's amazing. I would have my PS5 just for that game.
Just for that game, yeah.
But nothing else.
Yeah.
Tales of Arise, I got that. It's okay. 5 out of 10.
Yeah. So I'm playing RE4 on there.
Gotcha.
It's kind of a console game,
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like it'd be weird with a keyboard and mouse.
It'd be weird on PC.
Too weird, yeah.
Do you think marriage between Chinese and foreigners will be illegal in China in the near future? Nah. My girlfriend and I were very worried that could happen the next few years because of the Taiwan war. I don't think so.
No, I'm pretty sure that will never be a thing.
No.
Although foreigners being able to go into China might be a thing.
That's a different story.
Yeah.
The Average Joe, have you seen the Wall Street Journal headline? 4 of the 5 most downloaded apps are from China in the US.
Yeah.
Yep, we've seen that.
Oh yeah.
It's been a thing for a little while now. Probably in my next video.
And
a little bit
Temu is one of them.
Yep. Sonics, is Twitter worse or better after Elon Musk?
That's hard to say.
Probably worse.
It's really hard to say. I don't know. I mean, it's a tough call.
What improvement? The checkmark thing is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's kind of messing. But I mean, it's hard
I see
to
a checkmark now, and I look down on. I'm like, that's not a good account.
I mean, here's the thing, though. I guess it all depends on which side of the political spectrum that you lie, because you would have seen improvements or you would have seen things go downhill, depending on which side you're on.
I've seen a lot of Chinese propaganda.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm just saying it depends on you whether it's good or bad. For the kind of content that I post on there, which is just the Chinese stuff, I haven't seen any changes.
Andrea Jefferson, Davenports and settees are often referred to smaller couches similar to a love seat. Couches and sofas are 3-seaters in older people language. Gotcha.
Just gonna call it a couch. Just going to say, hey, go sit on the couch or,
So you sit on a couch.
They don't call it a Davenport potato, do they?
A what?
Davenport potato?
Couch potato.
Yeah, it's a couch potato. It's not
a SETI potato.
It's not a sofa potato.
Not a sofa potato. Good point. Good point. We're not arguing about that. We agree.
Yeah.
Paul Archibald says, did you guys ever have any homemade Chinese rice wine? Oh, it's like
a lot.
Hundreds of times.
Remember that stuff that we almost died from puke that like my ex-wife's uncle made that was... The worst thing is like where I found it was in their house, like in the, in the weird kitchen, like down where you keep your washing up liquid under the sink type thing. It was kind of there.
I like you brought it to torture us.
Yeah.
You're like, you have to try this because it's the worst thing I've ever had. And I was like, this is actually the worst thing
And we drank it.
I've ever
We
had.
didn't die though, but we should have.
I wanted to die.
We should have died.
Yeah. I'd rather
you always
never
hear
drink
about people
again.
dying from like homemade alcohol a lot in China and in Africa and so on.
We definitely hurt ourselves.
Oh, we
many
almost
times.
did. It was close. Yeah.
Coney Tsung says, can you talk about the bragging culture amongst Chinese business people? My personal experience is that everyone is bragging like crazy. And if you don't, then everyone has... Yeah, that's actually definitely... I'll put it in
That's
the
actually,
notes.
I mean, it's one of those things that you observe a lot, but you don't think about.
Yeah.
Now that you've mentioned it. Yeah.
It's huge.
Now you've mentioned it. It's all about bragging.
You know, like Japan or or modesty in general. It's the opposite in China.
Yeah.
You're supposed to brag and be as obnoxious as possible.
Yeah.
Don't be modest.
Yeah.
Sonics, what would happen if the US and EU banned Chinese imports? Would China collapse? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Like economically, for sure.
Yeah.
What, their domestic economy can't sustain itself.
No.
Alexander says, did China develop their own harder chemicals, or are they just used to whatever is developed in the West and now banned? Oh, yeah. Most stuff is developed in the West, for sure.
Yeah, no, China hasn't invented any chemicals or drugs or anything.
No.
Not a one.
Nope.
The only thing China has is traditional Chinese medicine, which is really just herbs and animal parts. Okay, so like in different mixtures of them, It's like take this amount of pangolin scales and some root or whatever and put it together. But when it comes to actual chemicals and drugs and pharmaceuticals, China hasn't invented any.
I agree.
They haven't.
No. Beta Machine says, is Hunan or Sichuan style spicier? I say Hunan food is much spicier than Sichuan. And people always go on about Sichuan. Hunan's much spicier than Sichuan.
I agree with you. Yeah.
It's the kind of chilies they use.
Mm-hmm.
LS.
The Sichuan peppercorns are numbing, though.
Yeah, but that's not spicy. I don't know why people say that's la.
Yeah,
it's
it's numbing. Yeah.
Mala is just, it makes your mouth feel like you can't, it's almost like a weird battery, like when you lick a battery.
Yeah, I suppose it's kind of like a local anesthetic in a way.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
if you go to the dentist,
It's not nice though, like...
it just makes your tongue kind of like feel
Tingly.
numb
Yeah.
and tingly, yeah.
Elia says, has the podcast ever talked about Xu Xiaodong before? Oh, many times.
Lots. In fact, I've got a video on my channel. Just go search Kung Fu on the Serpent ZA channel. I actually interviewed a martial arts friend of mine who trains with Xu Xiaodong.
Yeah. So it's convenient.
Yeah.
George Hazard, what are some of the dangerous animals in China? Are they all eaten? It's not a whole lot.
Yeah, there's a
definitely
couple of
some venomous
snakes.
for sure
some
in the
snakes
south.
are left. Yeah.
That's pretty much it. Venomous snakes. Oh, and there's some spiders and things like that, but they're not
Yeah.
dangerous. I would say snakes.
Yeah.
Pretty much just snakes.
Yep.
I've seen a few venomous snakes in Guangdong.
Yeah, I remember I picked one up.
You did?
Yeah.
Black Yellow 6, y'all ironed out plans for that Japan trip you talked about before COVID? Kind of.
We're getting there. We're getting there. We're looking at, like I said, we're waiting for something to happen this year, and if it happens, then we're going.
We might do some stuff behind like this in this community if we do anything, because it's not. I'm gonna be totally honest with you. You guys can see a little behind the sausage factory. You're in the sausage factory. If we posted anything about Japan, no one would give a shit. No one will watch that. We'll get no.
I don't know,
views.
man.
No, we can. I think we can try on ADV, but let's not beat around the bush here.
Well, the thing is, if we go to Japan, it won't be the usual, like, oh, I'm eating ramen, you know, like, oh, look, some geishas and shit.
Nope.
No, we'll be doing something special. I don't know if you guys ever saw on my channel, but I made a video called The Japanese Underground That No One Sees. And I went to, like, a Japanese underground live house where they play, like, death metal, heavy metal and stuff. Interviewed some bands and, you know, because I got friends that are in the scene there. And it did well.
Yeah.
It actually
that's
did well.
the kind of stuff
and that's what we'll be doing. We'll be doing underground scenes.
Yeah.
And we'll be doing So I still have a lot of contacts in Japan that constantly like are telling me about like, oh, we should do this and this and this. And I think that we can do something very compelling and different.
If we do it different, that's what I'm saying, is the normal ass content is not going to do well in Japan.
No.
So I would say the normal stuff of like day-to-day stuff of us messing around and seeing Japan, that would be here. We would show you guys some stuff and that kind of stuff. That was my idea.
Sure.
Random question. Is it just correct to say that you speak Chinese? Isn't that for foreigners? Isn't a proper way to say that you speak Mandarin and Cantonese? No, it's the opposite.
No.
If you are talking to a Chinese person and you say, I speak Chinese, that's the correct way. You can tell a noob like doesn't know anything if they say, I speak Mandarin, and if they point it out. I should say, if somebody corrects you and says, that's Chinese has many dialects. Actually, you say, I speak Mandarin or Cantonese. That's how you can tell that person doesn't know shit. Chinese people say, you speak Chinese.
Yeah.
You can differentiate past that.
Yeah, if you're speaking English to somebody and they ask you, do you speak Chinese? You can say yes.
Yeah.
And then they might ask you, do you speak Mandarin or Cantonese?
Yeah.
And then you can say I speak Mandarin.
Or whatever dialect.
Putonghua.
Right? It's weird. If you're a person that says, actually, it's called Mandarin, that's what blah blah. That's actually someone that doesn't know what they're talking about.
Yeah, because look, Cantonese is Chinese and Mandarin's Chinese.
It's just people call it Chinese. There's nothing wrong with that. I actually literally had, I'm not gonna say tanky types in real life. I speak Chinese, right?
Yeah.
And I was speaking Chinese, and then it came up that person was there in this group, but they didn't speak Chinese. This other white person, right?
Yeah.
And I'm speaking to a Chinese person, and then in the group. And then that person, we started talking about language in general in English altogether. And that person said, actually, it's Mandarin. You got to point out that you say it's called Mandarin because that's and as I'm speaking Mandarin, by the way, with someone. And I was like, everyone in China says Chinese. That's just what it's called.
And in fact, in Chinese, they don't even call it Mandarin. They just call it Putonghua.
It's just Putonghua.
Which means ordinary.
Common language.
Ordinary, common language. Yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, that's a good question.
Or they say Renhua.
Yeah.
Shuo Renhua.
Shuo Renhua Guoyu.
Yeah.
National language.
Yeah, it's Guoyu or Renhua, which means people language.
In Taiwan, they say Guoyu, which is national language. But yeah, people language. That's the if someone hears you speaking English and they don't understand, sometimes rude people say Shuo Renhua, which means speak human.
Yeah, speak human
meaning
language.
Chinese.
Yeah,
it's what you're speaking is bullshit.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Not human.
It's like animal talk.
I had people like in my family say that to me. Like I be talking to my friend or on the phone, and my parents are like Shuo Renhua, and I'm like, how dare you?
Yeah, how dare you call us a human language?
What?
Yeah.
Anyway, I like that question. That's actually really good. I hate those know-it-all like pet peeve people that are like, actually. Yeah. Silverio Goodwin. What's preventing Chinese-made cars from being sold in America? Why? Safety standards, safety quality issues. Brand awareness is super loyal in America. It's not like I'll buy a Ford for the rest of my life. It's not those people. It's like brands that you know.
Yeah.
Right. You can't just be a new car brand, right?
Yeah, and you'd buy Chevy anyway, not Ford.
Whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Get GM, man.
I don't think. Yeah.
Anyway,
you're not loyal to shit.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I'm not. But here's the thing. It is all down to safety standards. And even though China's made leaps and bounds, they're still far behind. And especially now, China's been making some very impressive EVs recently, okay? And when I say impressive, feature-packed, very good EVs, but they keep burning down. They keep having issues, and this is what prevents them from being sold outside. BYD is probably the leader in China when it comes to EVs at the moment, and they're having massive issues. I keep seeing videos of them burning down all the time. The latest stuff, even their prototypes that are out there on the roads burning down. It does happen, so...
For sure.
Yeah, it's safety.
You're welcome, Yudi. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out here.
You got to find cues, remember?
I'm looking for cues.
There's a cue. What was that cue?
I already did that one.
Okay, did that one.
I did that one. I already did that one. William says, if you charge your EV with electricity from coal, oil, or gas, how is that saving the environment?
Yeah, I mean, that's the other...
That's the other side of
things. The other side of this, nowadays modern gasoline engines are actually very clean burning. They're trust me, because I always have to get my cars to pass emissions, and especially when we were down in California.
Yeah.
Man, are they tough on that.
Yeah.
So you get to learn a lot about what cars are putting out. There's a reason why catalytic converters are on cars and stuff.
For sure. Like Halo6 says, y'all need to poke around Discord more, shaking my head. Yeah, he's our Discord mod. I'm sorry. Yeah. It's been so busy. And I know that's week. Like you're so busy, you don't have time. Really seriously busy with all kinds of stuff outside of work as well. But anyway,
we will.
Yeah. Rogue Noir says, "Do we get an extra super chat on the main show each month or something?" Yeah, if you get if you have a member, yeah. So you'll have an extra disc or extra super chat.
Yeah,
once a month, I believe. Q from Black Halo 6. Oh, did you see Pinduoduo got pulled from the Play Store and is using a 0-day vulnerability to take control of devices? Yeah, it's real bad, and that's why I say don't put Chinese apps on your phone.
Yeah.
I say it, and people are like, that's a little too harsh. What if you blah, blah? No, don't put Chinese apps on your phone.
Yeah.
Just don't do it.
Yeah. Got pulled,
especially
got pulled
if you have
from the
Android.
Did it get pulled from the Apple Store?
I believe it's fine for Apple.
Okay.
Apple's much better with security stuff.
Yeah, I know. Android has always been more open source. But again, they don't have that walled garden. So that's why it's attractive, is because it's for people who like to tinker.
No, I understand, but it's keep in mind the risks. On an Android,
Yeah.
it wouldn't be touching Chinese apps.
No, absolutely
Wow.
not. I agree. Don't do it.
Eastwood 400. I'm thinking about buying PS5 mainly for Gran Turismo. What type of brand or wheel set do you have? It's a Logitech. It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. You just look up the best Logitech. You got me one for my
It's got the
birthday or
pedals and the steering wheel.
Yeah.
And it's expandable. You can also put a shifter on it. I don't know which one
It's just
it
the
is.
latest one.
Yeah.
Look up the latest Logitech one.
They're great. It's force
awesome.
feedback. It's really cool.
Super good.
It's very realistic. I mean,
So
I was trying
good.
it the other day
Yeah.
here, because we got it set up in the office here, and it's really, really good.
It's mad good.
It's so good that I suck at driving the cars because I'm used to more arcadey stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Sonic, say, Winston, you need to get us some footage of the watermelon in the pool tradition when you talked about in South Africa.
Sure. Watermelon in the weir.
Yeah.
That's how you keep it cool.
So you keep the watermelon cool.
That's how it works, man.
Because the water temperature is definitely much colder than the air temperature.
It is. Especially in the weir because it's in the shade.
It's in the shade.
Yeah, because the weir, you have a little lid on it or whatever. So you
Yeah.
open that up, you throw it in there, and the water's moving around. It's being pumped. It's much cooler. Why do you think you jump in a pool on a hot day? Because it's warm as the air?
Yeah.
No, because it's cold.
It feels cool. The coolness is the evaporation of the water off your skin. That's what makes you cold.
No.
That's what makes you cold.
I understand,
Yeah.
but the water's cooler than the
course.
outside.
I mean, you'd hope so. The pool can get to a point where it's hotter.
You have to pay a lot more for a heated pool.
No, because sometimes it just gets so damn hot that the water... Like my friend used to have this solar cover. It's just a pool cover.
Yeah.
And the sun would beat down on it. And when you get in the water, it was freaking hot, dude. It was worse than the air. You can get into situations where the pool
I
is
just don't
hotter.
know where a pool's going to be hotter than the air.
If you
Unless
use
it's
a
a
solar
heated
cover.
pool.
Or a heated pool, yeah. Number 2, I'm not arguing against this, but why not
Okay.
just use a freaking refrigerator?
Do you want to put a watermelon in a refrigerator?
I don't mind.
Does your refrigerator have this much space in it for a massive-ass watermelon?
Yeah, you can put a
No, it
watermelon in a
doesn't.
fridge.
When you're having a party with people to come over, you have better things to go in the refrigerator than a watermelon. Like
Probably.
beer
Sure.
and whatever else. It's all about, using what's there. Okay?
Guess what? I don't have a pool.
Yeah, but
And
if
it's
you
also
did.
if I put it outside right now, it would almost freeze.
Yeah.
And that's just as good as putting it in a pool.
Yeah, but when you're in Africa, it's different, right?
Yeah, this is true. Hot ass Africa.
And think about it. You're not wasting extra electricity.
It's true. You're keeping it in the weir.
Yeah, put it in the weir.
Weir. What a word.
Yeah.
Weir.
It's
Such
just
a specific word.
It's pump technology
useless.
terminology, sorry.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
just it's useless to talk about weirs outside of this scenario. What's a weir? You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I mean, figure it out.
It's
If
weird.
you're into plumbing and stuff, you probably know about it.
Probably. Black Halo 6. I loved Winston's underground vid. I need more of that.
Yeah, we're going to be doing... Thanks, I'm glad you liked it. It was awesome. It was also awesome that one of the band members on stage recognized me from my videos.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's super cool.
Cedric Hachez said, I think Matthew is right. Thank you very much. I appreciate a little bit of love.
About what?
Could be the weir.
No, that
could be something else.
Yeah, maybe.
But I appreciate you thinking I'm right. Yudi888, does South Africa have passive fridges too then?
Yeah.
Oh, you have what's a passive fridge?
Well, I mean, there's this Afrikaans thing that I learned about once where you dig a hole in the dirt and then you do something.
I'm so glad I don't live there.
No, I mean, I'm serious. There's something that you do, which has got to do with digging a hole.
Okay.
And then putting clay or something, and then the wind going through it creates I don't know what it is. I can't remember, but there is something, and it actually creates a kind of a refrigeration effect. It's like a bush. I think it's called a bush fridge.
Guess if I was out in the bush, I'd use a bush fridge.
Well, I mean, you know, like in America, you had your pioneers or whatever, like Oxwagon. The same thing in South Africa called voertrekkers. Okay?
Yeah.
And they figured out all this crap.
It just never got past that part.
Yeah, they pretty much stayed. They still have their Oxwagons, okay? They still make their little things, but whatever. No, they figured all this stuff out back in the day. That's where biltong comes from, you know, like the jerky, dry the meat and all that. And so they figured out all these things, and one of them is this way of making kind of a refrigerator out of in dirt and stuff.
Oh.
It's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it gets very cold though. I feel like it just is a little cooler than
like 2 degrees.
I don't know, we should look it up.
We'll
I
look
feel
it
like
up. We'll
I
look
feel
it up.
like it's yeah.
Why are you guys making us off track on this?
I don't know. I'm going to quickly look it up.
Michael S., you guys got to talk. You guys ask about TikTok in the Google Play Store. TikTok shows it has been independently validated by the App Defense Alliance. What can you guys tell me about that? I have no idea what the Independent App Alliance is. App Defense Alliance. I have no idea what that means. I'll have to look that up. It's called a watermelon, not a fridge melon. Good point. Good point.
Yeah,
Touché,
that's true.
touché.
It is a watermelon.
Watermelon in the weir. That's like the knees in the breeze of backyard pools. It absolutely is.
Yeah, get my knees in the breeze, brother.
Something fucks me up about the watermelon in the weir for some reason.
It's totally
so
fine.
dumb and random. It just seems so senseless.
Why?
Why has it got to be there? Why can't it be inside in the shadows?
Because it's not going to get cooler. The pool
You
water
guys
is
swim in
cooler.
ice water? What are you, Joe Rogan?
The pool water is cool, and that's why you jump into it on a hot day. Why do you think you jump in a river on a hot day? It's not warm in there.
That water is cooler.
And so
not
is
a pool.
Yes, it is.
Barely. Maybe in the beginning of the day.
Nonsense. It reticulates or whatever. It circulates.
Reticulates.
You know what I'm talking?
Yeah. Sure.
Take a look.
I'm sick of talking about this.
It's
Will you ever
true.
do a meetup with fans? Probably not. We'll do it in VR or something.
No, I mean, absolutely we'll do it with maybe you guys will figure something out.
Yeah. Amongst you guys. I'm talking about Dajia, like the general populace.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Sonic says, what happened with the expensive guitar of Winston's experiment? Oh, it's chilling around.
Yeah, we'll still do
bring it. We'll bust it out again.
Yeah.
Martin Schemmel says he's in the Independent Bees Knees Society.
That's right.
Get off of that. Get off of there. You don't need to look.
I'm trying to figure out this fridge thing.
Anyway, we're done with the questions.
Oh, we are?
Yes.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for joining. Winston's just going to chill out on his phone for the rest of the stream.
No, I'm just trying to find this
Joe
fridge
Rogan
thing.
over here.
I mean, I'm seeing that there are some like
I believe it.
made out of mud.
I believe
things. Yeah. Anyway,
Sonic, by the way, sorry for the discussion, Lamau. Yeah, because you brought this up, Sonic. You son of a beep. Bringing
did
up
you
this
get the
weird
last
shit.
week's questions?
Yeah.
Oh, we already did those. Okay. All right. Oh,
We have a song request from Timo Shizaki. Unfortunately, you can't. Oh, we got to vote on the next topic.
Yes, absolutely, we do.
So we have allergy, and then Biao Bai is still in the running. So
Yeah,
we'll
Biao
retire Biao Bai if it loses 3 times in a row.
Okay. So for those of you who don't know, the Biao Bai topic is all about like having to basically beg for love.
Confess/beg.
Yeah.
For love.
It's a phenomenon in China where people will buy like 100 iPhones or something to propose.
All kinds of
not
stuff.
marriage, but just like be my girlfriend or whatever.
Like, will you go out with me?
Yeah,
Elaborate version.
Will you go out with me? Here's like 100 iPhones and a husky.
Yeah, it's not like we're making it sound like it's some random thing. It's very common.
Yeah.
Versus the allergy / what was the other part of that? Alcohol flush.
Yeah.
Flush phenomenon.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a good topic.
Yeah. So please get your votes in now.
Wow, I spelled that so wrong.
Doesn't matter. People will know.
Fen.
Yeah, fen. Alcohol fen.
Okay, cool. Ask your community.
Are you gonna do it?
No, it won't let me because there's too many characters here.
Okay.
Wow.
This is
not my fault.
Some
dude.
behind the scenes thing going on here. Yeah. Are you gonna get that? There we are.
Get rid of in China.
Okay.
Because you guys know what we're talking about.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, we'll wait for 65 votes.
It's up, guys. Please
vote for next week's
Vote
topic.
for what you'd like next time. And hey, remember, if you have a topic you would like us to cover, just ask us a question about it. Just do a Q and say like, "How about covering this?"
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's either the allergy or the people not believing in allergies in China, which is really scary. We have a lot of personal stories about that.
Yeah.
Plus the why alcohol flush exists. Like, for example, when somebody's drinking, they turn bright red.
Yeah.
And actually what the implications of that are in China specifically.
Yeah.
Then we have the Biaobai confess for beg for love culture, which is kind of unique to China in many ways. It does exist elsewhere, but it's very specific to China. I have tons of personal stories about that one.
Yeah.
Kind of sad and interesting to watch. We also have videos of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I'll wait until 65 votes. You guys pop it in. It's anonymous, so don't worry about people seeing what you voted for in case you're worried about that.
Yeah.
I biaobai a girl in China. It's a crazy thing, but it's fun. Yeah, Dylan. See, Dylan's got a personal story there. We can all share our tales.
Mm-hmm.
I personally never biaobai'd, but I've seen a lot. Working in the university system, I saw biaobais all the time. And man,
Yeah, it happens in university a lot. Yeah.
It is the cringest thing you've ever seen in your life.
It's pretty bad.
It's bad, but it's fun to watch because it's like a train wreck. And sometimes it works out and it's nice.
No, then it's good. Yeah. I like to see it work out.
I like to see it work out. I want to see these guys succeed. And
Unless
I want to
it's
see
like
them
a
happy.
rich for a die,
That's
you
a
know,
different biaobai.
flexing his,
That's no good.
like, I'll buy you a Lamborghini if you go out with me. Like that can
We'll bring
go-
that up too.
Those people can go jump in a lake. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Yeah.
Remember when you said that on Twitter and you got banned?
Because I told someone to jump in a lake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You told someone to jump in a lake and they're like, we don't advocate for self-harm, and gave you a TOS violation.
Yeah, that's right.
And you were like,
Yeah, it's just a very common saying because they
Yeah.
reported me as like, I don't know what was I like, threatening them or something.
yeah, it was like self-harm.
Yeah,
like
self-harm.
promoting self-harm.
Yeah. So told somebody to go jump in a lake. I'm like,
Next
what
time
the
just tell
hell?
them to put a watermelon in the weir.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Jeez.
So
it's
then,
bad.
what was it? The next time I said, "Please, would you kindly go to a lake and gently, like, wade into it, you know,
wade
something
into
like
it
that,
at your discretion.
Yeah, exactly.
Pay attention to your safety.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh shit.
You know, wear a life ring.
Yeah. All right, guys, don't forget to vote. I'll do it 5, 4, 3, 2. But I can't do that. Remember?
Why?
Because when I do that, there's a delay. So if I do a countdown now, it'll stop the poll before the countdown is
Right,
over.
that's true.
So I'll say the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and I'll wait,
Okay.
and then I'll do it. Should be. I can tell myself in the preview window, like when I'll have said that.
Okay. Probably now, eh?
2, 1. Okay, now I can end the poll.
Okay. So it looks like we're doing biaobai.
It looks like we're doing biaobai, begging for love culture in China. Trust me, it's very interesting.
Yeah.
You'll like it. It's a cozy one / cringe one.
Yeah.
If you like mad cringe.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you very much for joining us today, guys. It's so good to have you here. Remember, this is our favorite thing to do. You know what? It's supposed to be more of a chill, just chatting and, not that much prep thing. We did too much prep today with all our stupid, like, chili challenge. We went down a rabbit hole.
But I think it's good sometimes to give you guys full on. Like I said, is there full on like expose topics? And I want it to be a relaxed environment, but I also want you guys to get something out of this.
Yeah,
and I
for
think it's
sure.
cool to learn something from this shit. It's not just like, hey, dude, you like
Yeah, but
skateboarding? I like skateboarding.
Did you guys enjoy it is the most important thing.
Sure. We can vote on that.
Yeah,
Everything's a vote.
we vote on a lot of things around here, don't we?
Okay. Anyway, you get the idea.
And don't forget, Hong Hong Hong,
Yeah, let me write that in the notes.
Yeah.
The sequel.
Honorable Madisha, honorable member, he's coming. He talks a lot about the Wekas next week.
Yes. Honorable Magician. I cannot spell today. I'm so tired.
Yeah.
Honorable Magician sequel.
Yeah. You'll see him next week again, for sure.
Yes. Big fan.
Dug up a bunch of his clips. Actually, the more I watch him, the more I agree with him.
Me too.
It's really funny.
He's a good dude.
Yeah,
kind
he's
of. He's also a piece of shit.
I mean, he's,
he's very mean and bad.
Yeah.
But he's got some good ideas.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Guys, it's the beginning of the week.
Yeah.
So that means there's a whole week stretched ahead of us.
Yes.
And I hope that you have a fantastic week ahead of you.
Sure.
No matter where you are, no matter what
agree.
you're doing.
We got
a busy one.
We're having a tough time these days with some stuff, but
oh, please, before you go, if you haven't seen my video yet that I released today, please go and take a look. It's doing terrible
not
as
bad as
usual.
mine.
I don't know what's going on these days because it's a good topic, I think. I put a lot of effort into the video, and it's kind of along the lines of stuff that usually does well, but YouTube's just like, screw you, dude.
It's kind of like that across the board, I think. But it's
exactly. But yeah, I did a video on how there's this massive increase in Chinese nationals illegally crossing the border into the USA.
Yeah.
It's 930% increase. It's incredible.
Over 90%?
Yeah, over 930%. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So please check it out if you haven't already. Just head over to Serpent ZA.
Sure.
It's the latest video.
Doc Slothington says, you can definitely tell your story of wooing Tractor next week. It's a grand tale of love that transcends time and space.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Tianyo. Iron cow. I guess that's how you say it, eh? Steel cow. I guess
Steel
could be.
cow.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
have a fantastic week, guys. We can't wait to see you next time. And stay awesome. And let me cut myself off here. 5.